Hello and welcome back to the third and final lesson in this course on how to change the sky in Adobe Photoshop. We're going to jump straight back into Photoshop where we left off. We've already changed the sky and put this sky in, and we're just going to perform some final adjustments to make the composition a little better and a little more refined to make a more realistic result. So the first thing we're going to do is actually adjust the white balance of the cloud. So we want to make sure the cloud layer is selected. And then we just want to come up to image adjustments and levels, and we want to select the right hand color picker over here, so select that, and then we just want to click on our image. Now it's going to depend on your image on how much you need to adjust the white balance, but you can either click on the brightest part of the image or close to the brightest part of your image. So I'm going to click around here, and you can see that's heavily brightened the image. Now if we want to just cancel that out, we can go back and then we can go image adjustment again, and you can play around here and keep going and keep trying until you're happy with the result. So let's go in here, for example. There we go, on the brightest part. That's much better. So if we turn the preview off and back on, you can see there that's much brighter. It better matches the overall composition. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that one. Now the next thing I want to actually look at is the way these clouds are rolling sort of over the hills here. So you can see the clouds are sort of behind the hill, whereas actually they should probably be a bit higher. So we're just going to transform. So Command or Control and T on the keyboard, and then I'm just going to zoom out slightly. I'm going to right click and I'm going to click warp. Then we can just click and drag this right hand side up to make it look like these clouds are rolling over the hills to give a more realistic sort of result. So let's have a look. Be careful here not to adjust too much so that the clouds that don't cover, so you don't want to go up too high, for example, then you can see the background. So make sure that you cover all areas of your image, all pixels. So that's looking much better, maybe a little bit higher, touch higher over here on the right. Just there, so we can see the rolling clouds over the hill. So that's looking much better. So again, that's something to think about in your image, is the nature of the image. How would the clouds roll over a hill? You want to create a realistic result, then you have to think about the actual physics behind it. You have to think in real life, what would these clouds look like? So always be sure, think about that to create a realistic result. So the next thing we want to do is just create an unsharpened mask, just to sharpen up the cloud slightly. So I'm going to come to Filter, Sharpen, and Unsharpen Mask at the bottom, and we can have a little play here. You can see you don't want super sharp. Sometimes it's hard to notice, but when you're combining images, you need to see which one's sharper. In this case, if the landscape wasn't as sharp as the clouds, you would sharpen the landscape. So I'm just going to sharpen the clouds, amount 50%, and a radius of 2 there. Just add that in. Now that's actually looking pretty good, and it's giving us a realistic result. But what I just want to do is add a photo filter over the top, just to sort of combine the images and give a little bit of warmth to the landscape. So I'm going to come to the adjustment layers, and I'm going to click on photo filter, and then I'm going to select warming 81, and you can see straight away there's much more warmth in the image. So if I drop that right down, that's the before, and if I go right up, that's the after. As you can see, super warm. So let's add roughly 25%. Now on here, it's completely up to you, however you want to have this. Maybe you want to add some more oranges in. You can pick and choose and play around with these filters to suit your landscape and your composition. So let's go back to warming filter 81, 25%. Now let's have a look at our image. Now we're looking quite bright around the sort of horizon line here where the sun would be. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a look with these layers off and see the result. So you can see there the levels adjustment is heavily impacting the brightness there. So I might just knock this back a little bit to 80. Let's have a look. 60. So you can see there, that's a bit better, and also knock this one back to, let's have a look, about 70. So there we go. Let's have a look. So let's turn all these adjustments off. So this is the images just combined, so you can see the match is completely off. So then we added the levels, we've got brightness 1, brightness 2, hue and saturation, and then also the photo filter to combine both images together. So there you have it. That is how you combine two different images, and that's how you change the sky in Adobe Photoshop. I hope you have found this course useful, and I shall see you in the next one.